So now we have a new thing that we've tried called Pitch to a CMO. So we're going to have judges here, and we've got 6 startups that submitted their proposal to pitch to a startup. The setup is that you've raised money, you have a product, you have a very good idea, and you have some beta customers, something's going, and now you want to break into the enterprise account. So the structure is we've got 5 startups, and then we've got, let me announce the judges, Jeff Yoshimura, co-founder of Anyteam. Then we have Reema Batta, who's the VP of Growth Marketing at Figma. Then we have Levi, who works at SUSE. And we've got Rahul, who's from Intel, 4 judges.
Hi, everyone. My name is Reema Batta. I head growth marketing at Figma now, but prior to this, I've been a marketer for a really long time as well. Worked along in consumer brands, PLG businesses, and now, of course, SaaS. And as part of that, growing up in the growth organization, have been responsible for buying many tools over the years. And frankly, have been amazed by the rapid expansion of tools in the last 18 months or so. Really excited to see and hear more about what's coming up down the pipe and what you guys are building, and hopefully offer some good advice along the way.
Hi, who are you? What's your name? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Reema Batta. I'm the VP of Growth Marketing at Figma, and I'm really excited to be here today.
Great. And you were on a panel today
That's
at the AI
right.
Marketing Conference. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic panel where we got to judge and give advice to some incredible new entrepreneurs who are building marketing automation products, all the way from enabling content generation to enabling better data. Just exciting to see that everything that's getting built.
Yeah. And then, so what do you look for when somebody comes to you? First of all, do people come to you, say, hey, I've got an idea, get some opinions on that? Do you have a chance to express that regularly, or was this a new experience for you?
Not a new experience. I get pitched a lot of products, as you can imagine. So definitely not a new experience. Similar to some of the conversations we had here today, the process is started by to understand what's the problem the product is trying to solve for. Is it a pain point for me today, or do I foresee it being a pain point in the foreseeable future? Think about the value it can add to the customer experience and the journey, and then go from there, to invest more time into it or not.
As a growth marketer yourself, how important is it that you relate to what the problem statement is? Do you feel like it has to make sense to you? You have to feel it. It has to be expressed, or are you able to detach from that and just say objectively?
Yeah, I've seen so many variety of problems. I'd say in a session like today, I'm very easily able to detach from my personal needs and pain points. But I'd say it's a direct pitch to me for someone who's trying to sell a product to me. That's when my immediate pain point becomes extremely important. I think it depends on the context. Today, I was really open and I was here to give advice for whatever the product is, and just great to see the diversity.
You're easier on them than you would be if you're a
I was
customer?
more open. I was
Or no?
more open.
Do you make a lot of buying decisions in terms of software, or is that a different department and then you're told to roll it out? What's your role in the technology buying process?
On the marketing side, yes, I'd say very active. And I'd say most growth marketers are very active in buying tools, because we typically are responsible for revenue and have pretty meaningful budgets to enable us to drive revenue. So anything that reduces the cost or increases the revenue will top people to consider.
How long have you been in the industry?
Oh, gosh. I've been a marketer for 2 decades.
So what have you seen change? Obviously, there was a .com, you probably
Yeah.
was on the tail end of that, and then cloud, and now this. And what are you seeing changing in terms of MarTech? Any kind of characteristics?
Yeah, I was just saying this to somebody earlier today. I was like, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And so the core problem that we all continue to want to try to solve is, on any given day when we show up in front of a customer, how can we know their needs, preempt their needs, and make sure that our products that we're selling, the message that we deliver, meets that need and that immediate point in time. So I'd say the fundamental thing of what most MarTech tools are trying to do has been the same for this entire time. Obviously, there's been incredible platform evolution, right? The most recent being AI. And I'd say the proliferation of marketing tools over the past 18 months has been phenomenal, right? Looking at the similar problems are now solved in a much better way because we have better capabilities and that are enabling us to do that. There are some, I would just say, you think about the ChatGPTs of the world is a perfect product that is relatively new to market, but is solving a problem, a new problem, right? Which we never thought we had, right? From a marketer's perspective, all the content that it's enabling you to write at scale is pretty phenomenal. But some of the data problems have existed for a really long time. But it's exciting to see that AI is really enabling us to solve it in a better way.
So it's like a gold rush for customers. But how does a startup, like you said, there's a lot of startups popping up. How do they create a moat? How do they protect themselves from just being an also-ran or what we call a wrapper around this? How do you defend your business? Or are you just going to see like mushrooms, one person businesses pop up to make a bunch of money and everybody does it? Do you see this as a fundamentally different time in terms of companies?
There's always been a time. I'm going back to like now 2000s when e-commerce, was the hottest kid on the block. And you had so many people just like selling things online, right? And of course, not everybody became an Amazon, right? But I think that there are parallels to that every decade, right? What we're seeing now fundamentally isn't new. There's a new shifting technology platform that enables a lot of people to try something new, which I think is phenomenal, right? Some may not scale and become like a large multinational company, but that's okay, because I'd say that the fact that technology is enabling so many people to try new things is pretty cool.
As people in the industry, we don't want to talk too much about it, but people say bubble and things. Leaving that aside, when the dot-com bubble happened, Pets.com and all that was wiped, but then there emerged significant technologies that laid the foundation for this next wave, whether it be cloud and everything from there. What do you think is going to survive in AI? What are the green shoots of technology that you think are going to be persistent?
I wish I had a crystal ball, because I would make all my investment decisions based on that. But I would say like this whole concept of a bubble, there's a valuation in bubbles, not necessarily in technology, right? So everything that's built today is a path to getting the next stage of things, right? So that's my personal philosophy in bubble. The technology is in bubble, the valuation or potentially are. I'd say that if I was to just like the look forward, many years from now, and I'm doing this in real time with you guys, I'd say that anything that adds, like if I'm thinking about it from like a business marketer perspective, my role perspective, anything that adds real value to the business, and I gave you an example of you today. You can come in, solve a real business problem. Again, there is value in that in any cycle, boom or bust, right? So what typically dies out are nice to haves, right? And that if you're nice to have in the way you're able to sell your product, if you're really able to drive positive top line and help the bottom line of the business, you should be able to survive any business cycle. I wouldn't go as specific into an industry, because I think that same sort of first principle is valid regardless of what you're building and what space you fit.
And are you guys looking at the agentic movement, agentic AI, like multi-agents? Is that part of where you're looking at the landscape? How is that going to transform businesses that you know about?
I wouldn't say you guys. I would say personally, if I think about it, like absolutely very curious. Though I didn't hear a lot about that today, which is a little surprising, because I was expecting to be told something about how agents can do something. I would say in my role, what I'm seeing a lot of is scaled platforms are now building agents on top of their platform and telling me and my teams that if we adapt to those agentic platforms, like our workflows are more simplified, which is a very easy pill to swallow, like a more improved workflow. I would definitely sign up for that. I'd say that the real breakthrough in like agentic solutions is yet to come, especially as I talk about my field and what we do. I'm sure there are other spaces where this is moving at a rapid scale, right? So I'd say I think it's the next phase of the evolution that we are a part of right now, but nothing really comes to mind right now, which is like a break.
Yeah, I think people need to show some success story use cases.
Yeah, especially in the space of marketing, right? Like we're talking about the world that we are part of today, which is like marketing tools. Like I would say that I haven't really seen anything breakthrough.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm a career coach. And so I work with people who are looking for new jobs, career transitions, maybe looking to pivot into something else. You hold a significant position in your organization, you make hiring decisions and firing decisions. What do you look for in an employee right now? What kind of advice would you give to younger workers coming up, trying to find a foothold, and then mid to late career workers who are trying to navigate these choppy waters of AI? Any advice?
My advice to younger workers, folks who are basically coming out of universities. And interestingly enough, I was giving a lecture at USC yesterday, a marketing strategy for startups. And it's incredible to see how the incoming cohort of marketers are already so savvy on everything that's available to them. So I think they have a leg up, right? I'm excited for them. I think that my message to them is I would be stoked to be a marketer in today's day and age because you have so many incredible ways to express yourself. And so when it's liberty to be able to do it, whether you are in a SaaS business or a consumer business, like it doesn't really matter. I would say my message to them is just start with what you get, right? I don't think getting hung up on the first job is that critical anymore. Not that I look back. Like start with what you get, be resilient, just true to yourself, continue to experiment with your career and with what you do at work, and you find what you love, right? And I be landing in a good place. But I think it's a great time to be starting with a positive mindset already. I think for the mid to late stage careers, I would say, look, there is always this incredible platform disruption that happens, but it's been exciting. Like I've been a part of a few of those myself, and I'd say that just be open and excited about it versus nervous about it. Because frankly,
They can smell fear, so you have to be fearless.
yes, exactly,
right.
right? And it's like, the people who stand out are those that, you don't have to be, no one's looking for perfection, but it's like people who are open and are looking to learn and are excited about doing something that they feel passionate about. And that comes through, right? Of course, I won't say that specialization is important in certain roles, right? And being really deep in your topic goes a long way, right? And of course, it depends by role, right? So if you're a content writer, like being a great writer is like almost necessary for the job, right? If you're a quote marketer who does search marketing, being able to do search marketing really well is really important for the job. But what really enables you to go above and beyond or stand out is, of course, on the soft skill, right? And I think that is more important now than ever before. But tools are there making you sharp on your core skill set. So how do you make sure that you stay really sharp on soft skills as well?
And, this is a live event, like conferences. A lot of things happen. Well, of course, we're in San Francisco. There's a critical mass of talent and interest and a lot of events and things. How important are live events to you in terms of in this digital world, but still be able to get out and shake hands and smile?
Yeah, I was giving this advice to a couple of folks who are asking me, like, how do you market startups? And I said, don't just stay online. Yes, that's a large part of it because a lot of us are spending more and more time online, whichever platform of choice you have, right? And depending on what your audience is, you have to be online. But I think that going back to saying that some things never change is like marketing was always intended to be multi-channel 360 experience. And I think it's as true today as it's ever been. And I'd say that frankly, events, especially if you're trying to connect with large sale or like an executive buyer of some kind, like getting face-to-face, this continues to be more and more value in that. There are very few people who will make a decision of a large magnitude without understanding what the brand stands for, right? You see that in consumer brands where they're investing in brand marketing in markets that they operate. They do that because you have to be able to connect at a local level. You see that in, of course, all the enterprise businesses that are doing conferences so that they can talk about their products live, meet their customers face to face. Even though most of these products are online, the connection is online, offline combination of that is extremely important.
Great. And then what are you looking forward to in 2026? Anything, any kind of technology that you're looking forward to or direction you want to take business in or anything?
Yeah, there's a lot out there in the market right now. And I think there are a couple of big products that, are adding a lot of value. I'm excited to see more breakout from the. As a marketer, it gets a lot easier when I have to think about a few other companies to invest in. But frankly, like I said, it's great. The more the innovation, the better.
Okay, great. And where can people find out about you on LinkedIn? You're on LinkedIn?
I'm on LinkedIn.
I'll put your LinkedIn and things like that. Great. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
If you have a team and you want that team to be 10x what they are, you've got to send them to events. The best event to send them is AI Marketing Summit.